Good morning, everybody. Wakey, wakey. It's time for Morning Glory. My name is MC Kalia, and I'll be your captain for the next 1 hour, 30 minutes. Let's have this conversation going. Good morning, everybody. Wakey, wakey. It's time for Morning Glory. My name is MC Kalia, and I'll be your captain for the next 1 hour, 30 minutes. Let's have this conversation going. Good morning, everybody. Wakey, wakey. It's time for Morning Glory. My name is MC Kalia, and I'll be your captain for the next 1 hour, 30 minutes. Let's have this conversation going. Good morning, everybody. Wakey, wakey. It's time for Morning Glory. My name is MC Kalia, and I'll be your captain for the next 1 hour, 30 minutes. Let's have this conversation going. Good morning, everybody. Wakey, wakey. It's time for Morning Glory. My name is MC Kalia, and I'll be your captain for the next 1 hour, 30 minutes. Let's have this conversation going. Good morning, everybody. Wakey, wakey. It's time for Morning Glory. My name is MC Kalia, and I'll be your captain for the next 1 hour, 30 minutes. Let's have this conversation going.
It is the 30th day of January 2023. My name is MC Kalia and this is the Morning Glory Show. Welcome to the most comprehensive conversation in Kenya today. If you're tuned in, let me know where you tuned in. Of course, if you're tuned in, let me know where you tuned in from. And let's have this conversation. With us today is the MCA for Kiplombe Ward. I remember that Kiplombe Ward is found in Uasin Gishu County. So this is actually the state of the nation, but then we are actually giving special focus to Kiplombe Ward. So before I go far, allow me to also remind you that we are coming live from Dawi Afrique Photography. Dawi Afrique Photography is situated in Eldoret at a place called Zion Mall. So if you're in Eldoret and you need to take photos, then remember to visit Zion Mall. Already Mwechi is in the building, so I'd also want to give him a chance to actually introduce himself and say hi to all of you. Karibu sana Mheshimiwa.
Thank you so much for today's morning show. Honorable Gilbert Lagat, the MCA for Kiplombe Ward. I'm glad to be here today so that we can share issues concerning Uasin Gishu County and Kiplombe Ward in particular. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And many people, of course, you do remember that Uasin Gishu County has actually 30 wards, and we'd have plans of bringing as many of them as possible. We'd want to have conversations about our county, because once you become an MCA, then you cease to be not only the MCA for Kiplombe, you cease to be the MCA for Kiplombe, and you become the MCA for Uasin Gishu County. So we'd actually be trying to look at everything that has happened in the county assembly. I would say almost 6 months down the line since the last election in Kenya. We just want to look at what exactly has happened. What were your expectations and all that? But then before we go far, we have viewership from all over the country, and some people may not necessarily know you. So just give us a short background of yourself and how you even came to be the MCA of Kiplombe Ward. Karibu sana.
Okay, thank you so much. As I've said earlier, I'm Gilbert Lagat. My third name is Kipchumba, born in a village known as Kapchumba in Tarbo sub-county in Kiplombe Ward. Have been an aspirant for MCA for the last 10 years. I tried in 2013. Unfortunately, I lost. I tried in 2017. I lost. So my luck came 2022.
So actually you've been trying for 15 years. Yeah. Not just 10.
And before I joined politics, I started my studies at Kapchumba Primary School. Later, I joined, initially it was known as Eldoret Arambe Secondary School. Now it's called Bishop Delamy. After there, I joined Mount Kenya University for my first degree, and I did a bachelor in business information technology. That is when I graduated for my degree. While I was in the university, that is when I started my politics. I joined Student Union Council as a nominated member. Later, I vied for a position of Minister for Finance. I got the position, and I served from the third year and my fourth year. And before my fourth year elapsed, I got an opportunity also to serve as a student leader, that is the president for Mount Kenya University, until when I cleared my studies. And before that, there were so many other activities that I engaged before I joined the university. I've been telling people that I've been working in East Africa, East, Central, and West Africa within Eldoret here. And I was doing a car wash. I was washing cars from Kenya, washing cars for the people from Uganda, washing cars from lorries from Tanzania.
So actually, that means that actually the car wash must have actually been so well positioned.
That is where I started. That is where I started serving my people from that perspective. Later, I joined politics, and now here I am as an MCA in Gishu County.
Okay, thank you so much. Of course, if you're already tuned in, let me know where you tuned in from. Today, we put all our focus on Gishu County, and with us in studio is Gilbert Lagat, of course, having given a very powerful introduction that he actually joined politics way early. I can see Honorable Eugene Jr. saying, good morning, the Morning Glory Show, tuned in from Junction. Thank you for inviting MCA Kiplombe. Kiplombe is home to most of our people from Kerio Valley who ran away from insecurity. We pray that we get peace and in the beautiful valley. Amos Kimurgor Mes was saying, morning guys. There is Kostera Chersir saying, thank you so much. Dan Meli says, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us for this conversation. If you are tuned in and have any questions, of course, I know that we have people from Kiplombe ward here. If you have any questions to shoot to Muhesh, then this is the time to do it. If you have any questions also, even if you come from, I said when I was starting that Muhesh is now the MCA for Gishu County, because when he represents the interests of the people of Kiplombe ward, but then he is at the county assembly of Gishu. So you feel free to ask any questions about what is happening at the county assembly. And before we go far, you said you vied for 15 years, not actually 10, because this was the third one, so that means 15 years. What was this thing that was pushing you so hard that you really felt that you needed to be the MCA for Kiplombe ward?
It's all about leadership. I had something in my heart that I feel like sharing with the people of Kiplombe ward. There are some activities that need to be done in Kiplombe ward. Remember that for the last 10 years, since the dispensation of the new constitution, Kiplombe ward has been in opposition for the last 10 years. There are so many things that needs to be done in Kiplombe ward. It is one of the wards that is underdeveloped. I've been telling my governor, if there is a ward that will make Eldoret town not to be a city, it is Kiplombe ward. No development. When you reach Paul's Bakery, that is where the ward starts from. That is the beginning of darkness. You will know that during the night, when you reach Paul's Bakery, you will know that you are
You're actually into Kiplombe from the lighting.
you will know that you are already in Kiplombe, because we lack street lights, and it is in a town. The roads within the west side, the part of West Market, are not in a good condition. So if we talk about the development in Kiplombe ward, the ward itself is lacking behind. So there are a lot that has to be done in my ward. Yeah.
Okay, and when you talk about Kiplombe being in opposition, of course, people would understand that maybe what was happening before that. And also, you come from a ward that I would say is so divided in terms of, you would have, of course, while I was doing my background research, you realize that there's a Kiplombe a Jew and Kiplombe a Chin. What does all that mean? And as a leader, what does it mean to you?
Kiplombe actually is divided into two. We have the urban area and the rural area, and it is one of the largest wards in Gishu County. It has a population that is, in terms of voters, over 30,000 voters. So when we go into election, we normally have so many people joining the politics, and at the end of the day, you find that the ruling party loses to the opposition party. Now, since 2022 election, tulijipanga na tukaamua kwamba round hii we need to move Kiplombe from opposition to the ruling party. And that is where we are today. Yeah.
And of course, when you think about now the deep division, because we saw it during the campaigns. I was around Eldoret covering so many stories here and there. And you notice that the interest of the urban setup and the interest of the rural setup may differ. Has now the MCF for both the upper part and the lower part, what are some of your plans to make sure that this becomes a singular ward that pushes its interest as a unit?
The interest of upper and the lower differs. When you come to the urban areas, we are talking of streetlights, we are talking of the sewer systems that are essential in this region. But when we go to the lower part of Kapchumba, that is Kiplombe ward, that is the rural areas, we are talking about maraming of the roads. We are talking about agriculture, that is farming, in terms of rearing of cattle and production of food, because we have some bigger parcels of land on the other side that people can do farming. So the interest of people of the lower, the urban area are different from there. And I understand the needs of all sides. I know how to handle all parts. I know what to give the town region and the other side. So because I come from the town region and I belong also to the other part of Kiplombe, I balance the needs of all the residents. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Of course, if you're tuning in right now, today is the 30th day of January 2023. With us in studio is Mr. Gilbert Lagat. He is the MCA for Uasin Gishu. He is the MCA, no, rather the MCA for Kiplombe ward in Uasin Gishu County. So if you're joining us, then of course, if you have any questions for him, feel free to shoot them. What we're just trying to look at today is the state of Uasin Gishu County, and because he comes from Kiplombe ward, of course, we'll be try to be biased, but then later we'll also talk about what is happening in the other regions of the county. If you have also any questions, feel free to ask them. I see so many comments coming in thick and fast. I'll be sampling them as the show continues. My next question to Mheshimiwa is that you've now been in the seat for like 6 months. What are you've been at the county assembly. What are some of these legislations that maybe some of the motions that you've brought to the floor of the parliament, or some of the legislations that you feel are so important to have been passed within the first few days that you've been in there?
Thank you so much. For the last 6 months that have been in the assembly, there are so many issues that needs to be addressed. Maybe a few weeks ago, we saw issues of hawkers, and those are the traders and the street families, the conflict that arised. We thank God because the big issue that we had from the traders, they are saying that our market here in Eldoret has become small, and we have so many business people. It has been an issue that has been attracted a lot of discussion in the streets and also in the county assembly. And when our president came around, we talked to him, and he agreed that we upgrade the market. We construct a 4-story building which will accommodate the business community there. People will be doing their business in a 4-story building. That issue of fighting has been solved. And we thank the county assembly because they played a major role to ensure that there is peace within the county. There are also some
And maybe before you move on even to, because you've talked about a very sensitive issue that was going to form of, obviously we will not talk about Kiplombe without talking about the market. Let's talk about some of the legislation. Maybe what do we have in our CIDP that actually targets the traders of this town? Because beyond just the short-term piece we are seeing, we understand that the town is about to be elevated to a city. And in terms of the business environment, in terms of the laws that will govern the traders and the increasing numbers of people and the business interest, what exactly do you have in mind as the MCF for Kiplombe? And also within, because you come from an area that houses, I think, one of the biggest markets even in the country, that is the West Market. What are some of these plans that you have in place to make sure that we have a booming environment for everyone to get something out of the business as they do?
We have, as you have said, the biggest market in Kenya, and it is known by everybody that we have a West Market. When you visit the market, it is not yet developed, and it hosts so many business people. Watu wanatoka all the way from Nairobi kuja kufanya biashara hapa kwenye hii soko yetu ya West. Na tumezungumza na governor kama kiongozi katika kaunti hii, na tumekubaliana ya kwamba tutatafuta pesa ambayo soko hiyo itatengenezwa. Lock-up shops will be constructed ili wanabiashara watakuwa wakifanya biashara yao hata wakati wa mvua, hata wakati kuna jua kali. A business person ataweka vitu zake kwenye lock-up shop, baada ya mvua hana wasiwasi. Na tumepata wanabiashara wengi jioni ikifika, they move with their goods kutoka kule sokoni na wanatafuta mahali pa kuhifadhi mizigo yao ambao wamekuwa wakiuza. Na tumekubaliana kwamba tutatengeneza stores mahali ambapo wanabiashara watakuwa wakiweka bidhaa zao. And that is what we have agreed. Tunataka ku elevate the business because I think it is one of the places that we get revenue for our county, and we need to upgrade that place. Other places ambao tunataka kuweka biashara ni kwamba pia kule mashinani, like Kiplombe Center, tuko na shamba ambao imetengwa kwa ajili ya biashara soko. Tunataka pia tutatafuta pesa kama ward yetu ya Kiplombe tutengeneze lock-up shops ili wamama ambao wanatoka katika eneo hilo they get a nice place to do their businesses. Other markets, kienda kule Kahoya, kuna market kubwa kwa sasa inafanya kazi. Tangu soko hii ya West ifungwe, not West but hii ya town katikati ifungwe, ile ya pale Kahoya, hivi sasa inafanya kazi vizuri sana. So wanabiashara ambao wanunuzi ambao wanatoka eneo la Huruma mpaka sehemu hii ya roadblock wameletewa bidhaa with their suppliers mpaka karibu nyumbani. So kazi kule inaendelea vizuri. Unapozungumza kuhusu mambo ya CIDP, tumetengeneza, iko tayari. Na tulienda ile public participation, wananchi wakatoa priorities zao ya kusema kwamba tunataka kutengenezewa, tutaka tupewe hii na ile katika vijiji vyao. Na yote tumeandika na kitabu iko tayari. Juzi tumepitisha mambo ya supplementary budget. So tuko tayari, kazi ianze wakati wowote. Tunajua kwamba wakati tutakapomaliza mambo ya kuwateua wale CEOs, hapo ndio mahali ambapo kazi itaanzia. And we hope hii pesa ambao tumepewa kama World Development Fund, it's almost over 40 million kwa kila ward. Hiyo itainua maisha ya wakaji wetu wa Uasin Gishu. Kila ward inapewa 43 million that is for Ward Development Fund. Alafu kuna ile 60% ya ambao itapaki kwa governor, hiyo ni ile itakuwa ikifanya flagship project, ile project kubwa ambao inafanyika katika ward zetu. Hiyo ndi pesa ambao itatusaidia, na tunaamini ya kwamba maisha ya wakaji wa Uasin Gishu itainuka na maisha itabadilika. Asante.
Okay, asante sana, tunashukuru. Mr. Gilbert Lagat there, turning the interview clearly into a Swahili interview nonetheless. Nashukuru sana kwamba Kiswahili nimekishika vizuri. So many people texting in. Of course, I can see somebody by the name Emmanuel Sirma saying, good morning, Mheshimiwa. Congratulations for your first election as our Ebo MCA. The issue of the street lights in Kaplelach Center is very dark night. Do something more to facilitate business operations till the night. I think we've talked about that. I'll be sampling those comments. Of course, if you have any question, make sure that you shoot it to us and I'll be able to read it and Mheshimiwa will be able to respond to it. As we move forward, of course, there are so many other issues, of course, before we come back to the legislation and what we have in store for the people of Uasin Gishu County. Let's talk about the issue of housing in Kiplombe ward. When I put up the poster, everyone who has my number within that region was telling me, ask him about housing. What will happen to us? What exactly is happening in Kiplombe ward? It's as so far as housing is concerned. There was the Macharia estate, which actually falls squarely within Kiplombe ward, which actually was I saw demolition a few years ago. We've seen a few structures from what the photos I saw somebody send me of a small structure they are being constructed. There was a wall around Kilimani area. What exactly is happening in terms of housing? What plan do you have in terms of making sure that everyone within Kiplombe feels the sense of housing?
I think the issue of housing, we need to be clear. That is where I know we'll differ with many people. Before I became the MCA, that is 5 years ago, there are these houses from Macharia Estate. The perimeter wall was constructed and the roofings of the houses were removed and the people from the estate became the IDPs within their ward. When you go to these other estates, the county has decided to put a yellow X in their doors, and they have been told that you have to move. Let me ask you, wakati unataka kujenga nyumba, unaleta materials ama unabomoa nyumba kwanza? I'm asking you a question.
Of course, you must study the materials. You must be ready for it.
Lazima utafute you have to bring the material to the site. You have to have a plan on when to start your constructions before you demolish the house. So wale watu ambao waliathirika in the estate of Macharia, they are now disturbed. So many people went to their reserves and they used to stay here for a very long time. We have tuko na watoto walizaliwa Macharia. Hapo wanajua ni reserve yao. Hawana mahali pa kwenda. Manyumba zilibomolewa na mpaka sasa hakuna development imefanyika. Ni one building has been constructed and it is not yet complete. Na I've been told that the demolition will continue. The other time on 25th, I think on 24th, the president was around and we talked about the affordable housing plan that the government has. And the president told us that we need to look for the land for constructions. And I'm lucky, one of the wards that is having government lands is Kiplombe. So, nataka niseme hivi. Kabla ya watu wa Kiplombe watolewe kwa manyumba zao na ubomoaji wa manyumba iendelee, wacha tujengewe estate ya Macharia. Nyumba zijengwe ili tutakapokuwa tunaenda phase 2 ya kujenga manyumba na kubomoa zile ziko, watu wakuwe relocated to the new houses ili zile zingine zibomolewe. That is what I'm requesting the government and the county of Uasin Gishu, that hatutabomoa manyumba kwa sasa. We need to suspend, we construct zile ambao zimebomolewa ili watu waishi wakati tunaendelea na ujenzi wa manyumba zingine. That is my stand. And I stand to defend my people. Watu wangu hawezi angaishwa na walinichagua ni watetee. Asante.
And Mwisho, when you talk about housing, of course, we'd want to know exactly who is the custodian of these houses. Of course, we had a ministry that had dealt with in the old system, I believe before Constitution 2010. Then we had a ministry that was dealt with was tasked with housing. At the moment, we have houses. You'd find that who actually is mandated to manage those houses, especially around the areas you've talked about. Who is the custodian?
Some houses are under county government. Others are under this parastatal known as railways. So railways has some houses that people live there. Na hizi zingine ziko kwa county government. Na national government wamekubali kutujengea manyumba. And that is where we are. Yeah.
So that means that the houses now, because I understand that it is a plan for the whole country, it is a plan by the Kenya Kwanza government to have affordable housing. I believe also it's something that was in the Jubilee government and all that. As these houses are being built, who will be the manager of them? Who will be the person tasked with even collecting revenue from the houses? Will it be the county government, or will there be other bodies? Because I understand that the lands belong to different people. So when it is built there, who becomes the custodian? Because so many people are worried. Then what is the assurance that if I was here and my house was demolished, I'll be coming back to my house?
We have the Ministry of Housing that will be in charge of those houses. If county decides to build the affordable houses under the flagship project program, it will be under the county government. So it will depend if the constructions come from the national government, it will be under the housing. But if the county decides to construct for the people of Uasin Gishu, it will be under the Uasin Gishu county government.
And Muhesh, of course, I would want us to make progress. If you're already tuned in, make sure that you talk to us. We're talking to the MCA for Kiplombe Ward, that is Gilbert Lagat, today on the Morning Glory Show. Just trying to look at some of the progress that has been made within the first almost 6 months of election since they joined the Uasin Gishu County government, the Uasin Gishu County Assembly. And we should still want to go back to what has happened in the floor of the House and some of the motions that I believe are of much importance to the people of Uasin Gishu County. You've talked about a supplementary budget being passed and all that. What is in there for the people of Uasin Gishu County?
There are good things that we have put in place for the good people of Uasin Gishu County. We have the flagship projects that are coming under the leadership of our able governor, that is Honorable Chalilim. For instance, from where I come, there are hospitals. Those are the dispensaries that we need to construct, especially in Kiplombe Ward. There is a village down there known as Ainamoi, which already we have a land acquired for the construction of the dispensary. The process of tendering is ongoing, and I'm sure before the end of this week, the tendering process will be over, and the contractor will be on site to start constructing the dispensary. We also have a field that is under constructions in Chagaya. I've been there and I've seen the project. It's a nice one. I think the process needs to be speeded so that the project can go on. it's a good place. Being the chairman of youth and sports in the county assembly, in the whole part of Uasin Gishu, I like the place. And I wish that the department can do it very fast so that it can be operational. We need our youths to be doing their practices there. We also have a land here near airstrip. It's a good place for nature walk. I think a good thing is going on there. The fencing have been done, trees have been planted, a tower, a long building has been constructed also, that when you go to the 6th floor, you can have a view of Eldoret town from there. It's a nice place, and it is a project for the county government under the flagship projects. Yeah.
Okay, and let's talk a little bit about matters that actually directly affect the youth. Let's talk about sports. There is Uasin Gishu. There is Kipchoge. There is Kipchoge Stadium, but also we have 64 Stadium, which is also in Kiplombe ward. We've seen, I think, for the last few months now, no much activity has been seen, and people wanasema ukisha umwa na nyoka, then hata ukiona kamba utaruka kidogo. People who've seen Kipchoge Stadium stall, I understand the Minister for Sports in the national government, that is Ababu Namwamba, was here the other time. We talked about auditing and all that. But when you look at also when we look at 64 Stadium, there is no much activity going on there. When also we look at our league, the football league generally, then we've not had any activities in terms of sports. Kiplombe ward is one of those places that is well known for football for a long time. 64 Stadium, we had very serious team playing. When I was growing up, there was 105 playing around 64 Stadium and all that. If you went to Bishop Delany, you know how much sports was a thing around that region. It is dying. Let's talk about sports a little bit. What plan do you have as an MCA? What plan do we have as a county?
When we talk about Kipchoge Stadium, the minister was around some few weeks ago, and we moved around. We saw the status, and the minister was not happy on what was happening on the ground. Unfortunately, the contractor seems to be, he was not around. And what he promised us is that he will come back, and he want to ensure that the stadium is completed within a very short time. He was not happy on what was happening, but he promised that he will ensure that everything is in control to ensure that stadium imejengwa within a very short time. Kipchoge
and
Stadium.
Maybe before we move even to 64 Stadium, we are the Kipchoge Stadium you're talking about. We had Amina Mohammed come here. At that time, the governor was Honorable Mandago, the current senator for Uasin Gishu County. We had the same promises. As a house and as a member of the county assembly of Uasin Gishu, as much as maybe it is a national government project, where do you people come in, and what can you do to make sure that we hasten the process, and also we do not have such loopholes in the future when it comes to such projects that would greatly impact the youth?
Tunakubali kwamba kazi haijafanyika vizuri, na sio mara ya kwanza. Tunajua ile nyoka umesema ikikuuma ilituuma, na ilikuwa ni ile story ya handshake. So wakati handshake ilipofika, all this project ilikuwa affected. Hiyo ilistall, na mpaka sasa activities mingi haiendelee, ilisimama. Lakini sasa waziri alipokuja alituahidi ya kwamba kazi itaanza na itaendelea, na alitask our governor ya kwamba usilale, because this is a royal county where our president comes from. He promised him that usilale, hakikisha kwamba kazi imefanya nini, imeendelea. And we hope, we think within a very short time hiyo kazi itaanza na itakamilika. Hiyo stadium ya 64 stadium iko Kiplombe ward, na imejulikana kwamba ilikuwa ni mahali ambapo youth were doing their sporting activities there, na sasa imefungwa. Vijana wetu hawana mahali pa kuchezea, wengi huwa tunakimbia kule Huruma grounds, so that we do our practices, our friendly matches and any other activities we do there. So hawa wametushikilia sana. Ningewaomba wafanye hiyo kazi within a very short time, wamalize ili kazi yetu kama vijana ya mazoezi iweze kuendelea. Kama county government, after here nitaenda kwa mkutano na waziri wa michezo, Engineer Lucy, na tunaenda kuzungumzia kuhusu Governors Cup ambao itaanza hivi karibuni. County mzima, all 30 wards will participate, na tutaanza kule mashinani. Na tume single out na tutafanya we will begin with the volleyball. So that is an activity ambayo sisi kama viongozi katika county hii ya Uasin Gishu tunataka kushikilia, na we want to make sure that the talents are nurtured in this county. So kazi hiyo tutafanya na tutahakikisha kwamba things will move on the right direction.
Okay.
I myself, I'm a footballer. I love football. So ingawa sipendi volleyball sana, but I need to love volleyball, even though I'm sure with my height I won't.
But I've seen shorter people play volleyball anyway.
But we need to ensure that vijana wetu wamekuza zile talanta wako nayo. So vijana wangu kutoka Kiplombe na washauri ya kwamba tuanze mazoezi.
Na mheshimiwa, unajua tumezungumzia 64 ward, and you've not actually told us exactly what is happening there, because it is not being constructed at the moment. Maybe where are the loopholes? Of course, I understand that you have a working relationship with the MCA. You are in good terms with the governor. We are actually in a county that almost a good number of the MCAs come from the same party with the governor. We expect a very smooth operation when it comes to delivery of such projects. I know that you may be knowing something in what exactly is happening in 64 Stadium. At what stage are we? When do you expect the stadium to be complete?
It's a month ago tangu tukutane na the contractor mwenye anafanya hiyo kazi, na what he told me ni kwamba funding ilichelewa, na baada ya funding kuchelewa kazi ikasimama, na alikuwa ananiambia he's on a higher level of discussion for funding to be released. I believe if there is a serious contractor ni huyu mwenye anafanya 64 Stadium. He is a serious contractor, kwa sababu huyu hii ya Kipchoge ililala, lakini ya 64 Stadium unaona there are activities going around there. There are busy people working there. So within maybe before the end of this year, nafikiri hiyo uwanja itakuwa complete.
Yeah. And when you talk about sporting, of course you've mentioned volleyball. That is the Governors Cup coming up. But then of course we house a lot of activities within this region. Yesterday we were having the discovery cross country happening at the sports club. Next week you're expecting the Sirikwa classics also will be happening at Lobo Village. As a county we have a lot of sporting activities. Being an MCA in Uasin Gishu County, what legislations do we have to make sure, or what is your plan to make sure that we protect the sportsmen within this region? As I mentioned to you, we used to have very good football teams. You've said you're a footballer. We no longer see them. We would want to see them in the next 5 years come up. Of course, we've seen athletics. Of course, some right now the biggest thing we are facing is doping. We don't have even training grounds and all that. What is the long-term plan in terms of making sure that the people of Uasin Gishu have a sporting culture that is sustainable and takes care of the sport and the sportsmen and women?
This is a city of champions. We have talents. What we lack currently are the playing fields. Utasikia wachezaji wetu, especially athletes, utasikia wameenda Iten for training, kwa sababu kule kuna uwanja na kuna mahali safi ya mambo ya training. So we hope and we believe that the national government itatusaidia kwa mambo ya ujenzi ya hizi viwanja viwili. Kuna uwanja kingine kule Chebararwa na kuna ingine kule Ban Forest, mahali ambapo kuna uwanja. So we need to ensure that tuko na viwanja safi ile iko kwa standard for our athletes and our footballers and other indoors activities. Tuko na wachezaji pia. There is a village known as Tanzania, Buemba Farm. Niko na wachezaji wazuri sana ambao wanacheza darts, na kila wakati tumekuwa tukiwasiliana na coach wao na wako tayari na wanaomba serikali kwamba pia mchezo kama hiyo ikuwe included kwa activities za county, so that we don't major in activities like athletics and football alone. There are these other indoors sporting activities that we need to introduce, and we need to nurture those talents. And I'm sure as a county assembly, each member of county assembly have set aside some fund for the sporting activities. Tuko na mipira, especially nimeona kwa wards nyingi imetenga pesa ya kununua mipira, viatu kwa ajili ya wachezaji wao na chezi ya kuchezea. Na ninawapa hongera hawa viongozi wetu kwa sababu pia na wao wanawaza, they are thinking about the sports activities in their wards, and we thank God for that. Yeah.
Thank you so much. With us in studio is the MCA for Kiplombe Ward, Gilbert Lagat. Just trying to look at the state of the nation within Uasin Gishu County. We're actually focusing on Uasin Gishu County and majorly Kiplombe Ward, because with us today is the MCA for Kiplombe Ward. But then before we go there, allow me to continue reminding you that we're coming live from Dawi Afrique Photography. Dawi Afrique Photography is situated in Eldoret at a place called Zanmol. That means that wherever you are in Eldoret, just ask for Zanmol and you'll be sure to be directed to as Dawi Afrique Photography. Also, it is important that I mention to you that kama umependa luku, this has been done for by Disquare. And of course, if you're looking for nice suits, nice clothes, especially men wear, then be sure to visit Disquare. Right now also they have a school called Disquare School of Fashion Design. Feel free to visit them, feel free to go there. I was there for the grand opening of the school, and I can assure you that apart from just training, then you also have a place, because they have a very good workshop, so you'd still get first-hand experience from the tailors and the fashion designers at the fashion house. So and if you know anyone who has interest in fashion design, then direct them to Disquare. Disquare Fashion House and School is situated at the 4th floor of Ketia's building within the CBD in Eldoret. So anytime you feel like you have anyone who needs maybe clothing, and also who needs also to train in terms of tailoring, fashion design and related courses, then direct them to Disquare. As we continue, I see somebody here mentioning about Joy mentioning about security within Kiplombe Ward. I've seen also an issue about I think the messages are running too quick. I've seen something about water. Of course, we'd expect that will come up. Most of the questions that people ask is about, of course, there is security. It may go beyond the scope of maybe a county government or a county assembly. But then, of course, as a leader, so many expectations. Of course, people not say, it must go through you somehow, because you are the representative of the people. We have a security issue currently. You'd notice that the areas, almost every part of I would say town or related to within town, there's a security issue. I've seen somebody also shoot a question about Kiplombe Center and security. Maybe what is your long-term plan about security, as much as it may not be a function of the county government? How can we go about this? What are some of the things we've done as a leader to make sure that we can restore sanity within the region?
Thank you. The issue of insecurity in Uasin Gishu County and Kiplombe Ward in particular has become an issue. We have talked about Masharia Estate, which was demolished some years back, and it has become a den of thieves, whereby that place currently, as we speak, it is a dark place. We don't have street lights. I think it is a week ago I visited the people who are in charge with the street lights, and we have talked to them, and they have agreed to fix the street lights from that region. Juzi tulipata kwamba kuna wanaume wawili waliuawa kwa sababu ya giza. The business people are doing their business up to late hours, na wakifunga wanaenda na bodaboda, wengine wanatembea kwa sababu si mbali kutoka sehemu zao za kazi. And there you find we have idle youths ambao wanajificha kule, wanavamia watu, wanapora kina mama. Nasikia Kibeti imeenda, hata ilifika wakati ambapo mchana peupe unaporwa. Mtu ameketi kwa pikipiki na mtu anapiga simu inaenda kwa sababu pikipiki imekuja, they snatch the phone na wanakimbia namna hiyo. But now mambo haya imetulia, si jinsi ambavyo ilikuwa hapo awali. That is the issue of insecurity in that area. Na I think the concern apparatus kwa mambo ya security nowadays, naambiwa wanatembea usiku kuensure kwamba mambo ya security katika sehemu hiyo imekuwa sawa. Na ninashukuru kwa sababu they are assisting us so much. As much as we are still fixing the street lights, na tumeomba kwa budget yangu ya ward development funds, kuna zile kona ambao tutaweka flashlights hizi tamrefu. Some people call them mulika mwizi. So tutaweka kule mwanzo, karibu inaitwa kona, hapo karibu kanisa hii ya Catholic Majengo. Kuna sehemu pia hapo ambao ni giza sana. Tutaweka hapo the flashlight to ensure that security kwa hiyo eneo itakuwa mzuri. Mtu ukifanya biashara yako mpaka saa 3 saa 4, you will be sure that utafika nyumbani. Somebody talked about Kiplombe Center. Already tumeweka street lights Kiplombe, usiku ni kama mchana, na ninashukuru kwa sababu wanabiashara sasa wanaendelea na biashara zao. Mtu akitoka town na kuna vitu anataka kununua kwa center ya Kiplombe, hana haraka, biashara inaendelea vizuri na kazi inaendelea vizuri. So I want to encourage people who are doing business in Kiplombe Center that they continue doing their business, because it is safe. It's not like the other time. Kiplombe Center is not far from town. Na issues ya insecurity initially was there. Kwamba unasikia mtu amechapwa, simu imeenda, pesa imeenda. Na sasa those are past tense. Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody also talked about the issue of
somebody
water.
talked about water, but then before we go to water, I would want us to maybe look deeper into the issue of security, because if unaweza ibiwa mchana peupe, that means that the issue of security is not about lights, it is about something else. Maybe what are some of the root causes of this insecurity we're seeing in our wards today, and even within the country? You would understand the issues of unemployment and all that. As an MCA, you may not have much to do in terms of employment, but what are some of these things that we can do now as a county assembly when we come together as leaders in terms of having a unity for purpose? What does it mean for us? What can we do?
I've said that in a few weeks to come we'll be having a Governor's Cup. Our youths, ambao most of them are suspected to be robbers during the day and during the night, they will be having something to do. When governor talked about employment, akasema hatuwezi kuajiri vijana wote katika county hii ya Uasin Gishu. We need to find an alternative way of making our youths to be busy. That is where he introduced the Governor Cup, so that vijana wakuwe busy the whole day. Ikifika jioni wamechoka, wanaenda kulala. Kesho asubuhi wanaamukia, to build the talents. In some areas we have a challenge of drug abuse na illicit brews. Hiyo ndio challenge ingine ambao it is affecting us in our estates. And we have talked with the team that is concerned with the issues of security of the county. Na ninashukuru the other time nilisikia waliingia mahali na wakamwaga pombe. Na we need to encourage akina mama hao ambao wanatengeneza pombe. Mimi kama MCA wa Kiplombe, kuna pesa nimetengeneza, nimeweka kando kwa ajili ya biashara zao. Wabadilishe tu biashara kutoka uuzaji wa pombe na wafanye biashara nyingine ambayo inakubalika. Pesa iko. Wajiweke kwa vikundi na watapata hiyo pesa na wataweza kujiendelesha katika biashara zao, so that our youths can have cannot get the brews ama pombe within their locality. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Of course, as we continue to speak to each other, I was actually looking at a question that came in so sharply when you're just talking about the issue of security and insecurity. I've also seen there is the issue of water, but then still dwelling on the issue of security, and I see there's a relationship with it and sports and all that, and engaging the youth. How much of money have we put aside in terms of sports? Because you may engage me in sports, but then the other day I had somebody here talking about sports, and actually they come from the areas of Kidiwa, which somehow is a borderline between Kiplombe and a different ward. And you realize that they say that we must win in the field, but then we must also win beyond the field. And when I asked what that meant, they say that actually you cannot just go play, then go home empty pocket. You see? And you cannot put us in a cup for a whole 3 months, then give us 10,000 as a team. You see how much of structures, how much of... you see, I believe that there is something that is coming up. We cannot actually engage them in sports without having something substantial. Do we have a system to award those who will not... of course, make it in those sports? Do we have how much have we put as a county, as a ward, in terms of making sure that actually we are able to empower the youth through sports in real sense? Yeah.
After going to the field, we have some organizations and companies who have teams in their companies. For example, tuko na kampuni Millers ambao inaitwa Mfalme. I'm grateful because youths from my village where I come from, wengine wamechukuliwa wanacheza na hiyo kampuni ya Mfalme. So wanafanya kazi kwa kampuni na wanafanya michezo kwa kampuni. So if we get those companies who want a serious footballers, they can get from Uasin Gishu County. The young, energetic young people who can play football, and you want kuinua jina ya kampuni through sporting activities, mnaweza kuja, tutawapea vijana ambao wanafanya kazi hiyo vizuri. Na kama county government, we are trying to sell our youth from that perspective. Kwamba kuna leagues ambao zinakuja na zinatafuta vijana ambao wanacheza mpira. From that way, from those activities, hizo leagues zitachukua vijana na vijana watacheza wakilipwa. Yeah.
Now, how vijana ambao tunazungumzia, we have these companies, maybe are there any initiatives to make sure that we have a good relationship, or even we have an area where a relationship whereby companies can approach you as a leader and tell you, we need youth to do this and this and this and this? How much of a relationship is there between you and I would say the business community who would want to promote youth in terms of sports? Because the issue of unemployment is there, the issue of insecurity is there, very related. How many youth can the private sector take up in terms of talent?
We have a good rapport with the companies within Uasin Gishu County. Hatuja gwaruzana, tunafanya kazi vizuri. Na most of this organization ambao wanapenda michezo, huwa wanachukua vijana na wanaenda kucheza. Tuko na kampuni zingine ambazo ziko within Kiplombe ward. For example, pipeline. Some years back nimekuwa nikicheza kwa uwanja ya pipeline. Tumekuwa tukicheza na hiyo kampuni ya pipeline mipira. Na ingawa siku progress sana kucheza na pipeline, kuna wengine waliendelea na wakaenda wakacheza. Tuko na kampuni pia ambao ni ya DL Koisagat. Niko na vijana ambao walifanya kazi kwa hiyo kampuni kwa sababu ya michezo. Na ninashukuru hiyo kampuni kwa sababu walichukua vijana kutoka my village wakaenda kucheza kwa hiyo kampuni. Hatuna shida na wao, tunawasaidia. We support them as leaders of Uasin Gishu County. Yeah, we really appreciate their good work. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Of course, I said keep those messages coming in. I can see Mildred Sum. Thank you so much for making time to be with us on the Morning Glory. I can see Mam Sheila saying, thanks, Honorable Lagat. Good start, sir. Let water, roads, and health be prioritized. Of course, I can see Kevin Kiptarbey Chirchir tagging in friends there. Thank you so much. We're coming to the last quarter of this particular interview, coming live from Dawi, Africa. With us in studio is Gilbert Lagat, MCA Kiplombe Ward, helping us understand the issues of Kiplombe Ward and Uasin Gishu County in general. Remember, this is the Monday edition, State of the Nation. This is the Morning Glory Show. It is the most comprehensive talk show in Kenya today. You've mentioned about water, and we've seen, and I would really want to understand how the Ward Development Fund works, because I can see a question about, I saw when we put up the poster, there was a question about bursary, there's a question about education, there's a question about roads. How much can we do with the Ward Development Fund? What does the 40 million mean for the people of Kiplombe?
Let me start with the issue of water, which is a problem in Kiplombe Ward. There are some villages which are benefiting from Eldowas water, and I appreciate because there was a time there was a serious rationing of water. A village known as Kambi Thomas, Keroka, Judea, and Kapchumba village itself. In 1 week, it was having a 1 day for them to get the water. We talked with the people of Eldowas. Now, the people from those villages wanapata maji siku mbili in a week. So they are able to get water. They store them as they wait for their second turn. When we go to the other side of Kiplombe, whereby they are not benefiting from Eldowas, Kiplombe Center, I'm telling you for a fact, jana jioni nilikuwa huko. Na nilizungumza na baadhi ya wakaji wa sehemu hiyo, wakaniambia where they are getting their water is almost 1 kilometer in a nearby village known as Chebarus London. It's a stream ambayo maji iko. So wakaji wote wa Kiplombe wanakimbia mpaka hiyo chemichemi. They are almost 1 kilometer. Na tumechimba kisima already hapo center na maji ni safi. Currently nimeweka 2 million for equipping and distribution for the water. I think in the next 1 month or 2 months hiyo maji itakuwa operational na it will help the residents of Kiplombe Center. We also have a village known as Ainamoi. Ainamo iko na spring ambao initially ilikuwa imetengenezwa na ina pump maji iende mpaka kwa shule, lakini the contractor who was doing some work there, the work was not good kwa sababu it went to an extent whereby maji inapotea, and initially there was a constant supply of water. We have talked to the concerned people, wametoa hiyo mawe ambayo ilikuwa imewekwa kwa spring, imeoshwa na the good work is being done there. Tuko na maji pia ambao tumechimba na tayari tangi imewekwa juu na maji sasa iko. I've also put aside 1 million from the Ward Development Fund for distribution, and that village will benefit from the water. Najua kwamba juzi tumekuwa na shida ya maji chafu ambayo ilikuwa katika kijiji moja, kwamba they were fetching water from the spring na watu waligonjeka kwa sababu ya hiyo maji. Na Elders nashukuru sana kwa sababu they really assisted us in testing the water, and the water were contaminated. So hiyo maji tumefunga kwa sasa, haifanyi kazi. We have instructed the community concerned watafute the alternative way of getting water as we prepare to get a drilled water from that village. So kuna maji tumechimba from our villages. The water in Kiplombe secondary school ilichimbwa na the first women rep of Uasin Gishu County, na tangu ichimbwe haijawasaidia wakaji wa eneo hilo. So we were talking with the concerned body who are drilling those water, if they can give us as a county government so that we put some money for distribution to the community, and we hope they will respond well so that we can work on it. That was Lake Victoria kwa na chimbo ya maji. So hii issue ya maji, kuna maji pia imechimbwa kwa shule ya Kiplombe secondary school na primary school. Tayari maji kwa tangi. I've set aside 2 million from Ward Development Fund for distribution. So the time the time the CEOs are in office, the Ward Development Fund will be operational na hiyo maji itaanza kufanya kazi within the locality. So we are trying to solve the problem, not for a while, but it is a long term solution kwa issue ya maji. Watu wanalia maji, and it was kwa ile agenda 10 ama nguzo 10 ya governor wetu koti moja, it is one of the agendas kwamba issues ya maji ikuwe sorted hapa Uasin Gishu. The other time nimesema president was around, na issue ya maji is among the agendas of Kenya Kwanza, na tukaomba our president kwamba atupe 3 dams in Uasin Gishu County, 3 dams ambao itafanywa na serikali kuu to ensure that we sort the issue of shortage of waters once and for all in Uasin Gishu County. So we are heading on the right direction of sorting this issue of lack of clean water.
Thank you so much. And of course, as we are headed towards the last minute of this interview, of course, we understand there is the issue of beyond all this, maybe, and before we go there, there's an issue of education. Here in Kiruka, now so many people asking about bursaries and all that. And from where I sit, of course, it is understandably, if it were not for the Ward Development Fund, we would understand that education would be something else. But then now that we have Ward Development Fund in Uasin Gishu, how much can it do in terms of bursary? And then also a special question that came in yesterday evening, somebody said, is there a possibility of, because if you gave me bursary in Form 1 and I didn't have money, as a parent, they didn't have money in Form 1, then that means also in Form 2 or even in Term 2, they'll still not be having money. Is there any system that can actually help somebody? Can bursary sort mtu mpaka amalize shule? Inawezekana kweli?
It is an issue that needs to be discussed and agreed. Kwamba ukipata bursary in your first year, first semester, or first year, first term, hiyo bursary ikusukume mpaka umalize Form 4 kama ingewezekana. So we will see a way on how to do it. Lakini out of the 43 million tumekuwa na 3.3 million ya bursary ambao tulipeana juzi, na we did a good work. Watu walipata bursary and a little money. Hii ni ile pesa ya kusema kwamba to supplement masomo ya wanafunzi wetu. tumepeana kama Kiplombe ward, we issued for secondary school tulipea wanafunzi 461. Those are the beneficiaries for bursary. Na ujue kwamba this is my first bursary in office that I'm giving out. I was talking to them challenges ile walipitia as we issue, so that we can see on a way on how to improve, how we can do it. Na ninashukuru kupata wanafunzi 641 who are benefiting from bursary, na hawa ni wa secondary school. It is a step ahead. What we want to request the county government of Uasin Gishu to increase the amount from 3 million up to 4 ama 7 million. Tunataka 7 million. Wanafunzi ni wengi ambao hawana uwezo wa kulipa, na tutakapopata the increment from what we got last time, that is 3.3, hata itufikishe 4 ama 5 million, itakuwa ni sawa. Lakini hii issue ya kusema ikusomeshe from first year mpaka 4 years, think it will be a discussion for another day.
It is a discussion for another day. But then you would agree that somebody, if they got bursary in the first year in school, it is a very big possibility that even in the second year or third year, they'll not be having the money. And there is a possibility that they may not get it because inasemekana alipata last time. Anyway, as you say, it's a discussion for another day. Okay, so also as we now come in, let's look at the relationship between the county government and the county executive and the county assembly. This is a region where we understand that UDM maybe swept almost all the seats. So we have a government, executive, and the county assembly working in synergy at the moment. How could that affect the issue of oversight, which is the biggest role that the county assembly has? And in relation to that also, because I wanted to maybe form the last part of this conversation, let's also talk about the legislation that you personally, as an MCA now, think after the experience in the House, or even when you are coming into the House, what are some of those legislations that you feel you'd want to see them go through in the 5 years that you'll be in the county assembly?
First of all, the executive and the county assembly were in good terms. Governor was elected as I was elected. So there is no way we can fight with my governor. Alichaguliwa kwa chama kama ile chama ambao pia mimi nilichaguliwa. He came to Kiplombe ward and requested the people of Kiplombe wampigie kura. At the same time, aliwaambia wakaji wa Kiplombe, munipatie huyu kijana Gilbert tufanye kazi na yeye. Watu wa Kiplombe walikubali, wakapa governor to be the governor of Uasin Gishu. At the same time, walikubali ya kwamba wacha tumpatie Gilbert waende wafanye kazi pamoja na yeye. So at no point tunaweza kufanya vita na governor, kwa sababu waliotuchagua walisikia sera ya governor na wakasikia sera zangu kama MCA na wakakubali kwamba tutafanya kazi kwa pamoja. So serikali ya county government na county assembly, we are one and we are working together to ensure that interests ama mahitaji ama yale ambao wakaji wa Uasin Gishu wanahitaji kutoka kwetu tumewapatia. Tukienda kwa mambo ya legislation,
and of course tukibaki hapo kwa oversight, I feel ya kwamba maybe having of course this is a discussion that we may not have much about, but then we would want to look at a county government where there is that correlation between the county assembly, but then there is the issue of oversight, which at times means disagreement. How do you strike that balance? Being a county assembly that has almost all the members coming from maybe one party or one political organization.
Our governor is somebody who listens. He normally sits down with the MCS. Tunazungumza na tunaelewana. So when we will be doing our oversight, tumekuwa na dialogue na tumekubaliana kwamba this is the way to go. Wakati kuna conflict ni wakati ambapo governor anakuwa na kiburi, hataki kusikiza mambo ya MCS. MCS wanasema hii na governor anasema zake tofauti. That is where the conflict comes in. Si unakumbuka yule governor ambaye attempt ya impeachment ni kwa sababu ya kutoelewana. Kama mtu anashuka chini na anaketi na kuzungumza na MCS, mimi sioni mahali ambapo tunaweza kukosana na governor. But if that time comes, which I'm not projecting that it will come anytime soon, we will sit down and agree. This is a royal county mahali president anatoka, na hatutaki malumbano kati ya MCS na governor. Tunataka kudeliver what we promised our people that we will deliver. So we will do our part ya oversight, na governor atakubaliana na sisi kwamba we are working together.
Okay, as we come to the end part of it, let's talk about Gilbert Lagat in the next 5 years in terms of legislation, and also where do you see yourself in the next 5 years in terms of service delivery?
Kazi yangu nimeanza as a legislator wa Kiplombe ward, na ninashukuru kwa sababu wakaaji wa Kiplombe tunapokutana na wao wananipa hongera, wanasema this is a good start. Kazi ile ambayo inahitajika Kiplombe ward ni kuwafanyia wakaaji barabara. We need to grade our roads because some roads are impassable. So tunahitaji grader, na kazi imeanza, tumetengeneza barabara. Ingawa kuna barabara zingine ambao tunaomba serikali kuu waingilie kati watutengenezee. Kuna umesikia mtu akiuliza street lights kule Mkwen na Kaplelach Center. Those are the growing centers. Now the business is doing well in those areas, and I've promised them kwamba in this supplementary budget kuna pesa nimeweka kwa hizo street lights, kwa hizo centers ambao ni street lights. In the next 5 years I hope my scorecard will be clear, na ninaomba kwamba wakaji wa Kiplombe wanisaidia. Ombi langu ni kwamba I want to make a change, kwamba nisije nikawa a one-term MCA. I need to at least to meet their expectations so that they feel it is good to be in government. This is the first MCA kuwa kwa serikali. Nimekuambia for the last 10 years tumekuwa nje ya serikali. Now we are enjoying the fruits of the government. So in the next 5 years, hope things will be okay kwa ground. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. So what would be your parting shot then, Mwesh?
My parting shot kwanza ni kuwashukuru wakaaji wa Kiplombe sana 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 kwa kunipa uteuzi huu wa kuwa MCA wao in the next 5 years. Ninashukuru sana, nasema asanteni sana. Ile kura ambao nilipata sijawahi pata. Wakati hule nimekuwa nikipata, somebody was saying the other time the votes I got is not equated to the any airtime. But this time around nashukuru sana kwa sababu the person who we were competing with, that was the outgoing MCA. There was a difference of over 5,000 votes, which means Kiplombe ilizungumza na ilizungumza kwa sauti ya juu. So I'm loyal to the people of Kiplombe. Tutafanya kazi pamoja na nyinyi, na mambo ya siasa tumeacha, sasa ni wakati wa kazi. I need your support as I deliver to the promises that I promised you. I will never let you people down. Tutafanya kazi pamoja na nyinyi until we realize the goodness of being in a government. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much for that. It's been Mr. Gilbert Lagat, the MCA for Kiplombe Ward in Uasin County, having talked about different issues here and there. Of course, the link will remain on the broadcast, and so at the end of this broadcast, you can still rewatch the link, you can still reshare the link and let it reach all the people. Of course, as you also know, this is the Morning Glory Show. It is the biggest conversation, it is the biggest show, it is the biggest talk show currently in Kenya today. We shall continue to bring you insightful guests and insightful programs to make sure that you enjoy those mornings and start them on an edifying note. With that, we've been coming live from Dawi Africa Photography. My name is MC Kalia. Until tomorrow, see you.